Do you know where to even start when it comes to keto? There's so much out there online that I thought we'd get back to basics in tonight's live stream. I'm talking to you tonight about the top 10 foods to eat on keto, plus the foods you want to limit or avoid. Now, I dropped more than 50 pounds. That was 5 years ago. I've kept it off the whole time. Wasn't easy at first, but now keto is what I use to maintain the body and the look that I want. My name is Jewel Waring. I'm the owner of this group, Jewel's Keto Kitchen, all the complete recipes. Let's get into it because I want you to have information that you can take action on today. And I want to break it down for you in a super simple, very easy to do way that you can start right now. And guess what? So this isn't just a list of eat this, not that, because there are lists all over the internet. That's not necessarily helpful. What is very helpful is when it comes to the things that we want to avoid, I'm also going to give you substitutions so you can find plenty of things that you like. And one of the things that's key, it's not so much breaking habits, it's changing habits. So that's why we're going to substitute. And, I feel like if you don't have an idea of what to eat instead of, food X, Y, and Z, then you're either just going to eat X, Y, and Z or just French fries or potato chips or something because you don't know what to do instead. So the most important thing that I'm going to talk about tonight is when it comes to foods to avoid, what you're going to eat instead in order to still keep it keto. Now, a keto eating plan timidly has your carbs at 20 to 50 grams every day. That sounds like it's going to be challenging, but there are a lot of foods that I promise you already probably eat and you already probably like that fit into your keto plan. So let's talk about the foods that you want to include. So first of all, seafood. Fish and shellfish are very, very keto friendly. Now, salmon and other fish are very rich when it comes to B vitamins, potassium. This is also virtually carb-free, which is critically important. Now, while shellfish can be included in a keto eating plan, it's important to account for those carbs so that you stay within the narrow range that you want to stay into. So just a couple of options that you want to keep in mind when it comes to clams, that has 4 grams of carbs, mussels also 4 grams, octopus 4 grams, oysters 3 grams, squid 3 grams. One of the things you want to bear in mind is that a lot of foods will fall into more than one macro category, okay? So the reason that clams, mussels, octopus, oysters are going to give you, so they're going to give you some carbs, right? But if you just had a list of eat this, not that, that would be on the list of protein. Most foods are comprised of more than one macronutrient, so that's going to count for some carbs, and it may also obviously count for your protein. Now, what else do you want to make sure and really load up on your keto eating plan? You want to stick with low carb veggies. So what I'm talking about are non-starchy vegetables, low in calorie, low in carbs, but they're very, very nutrient dense, very, very nutrient rich. So nutrient rich, meaning they have vitamin C, they have several minerals. So vegetables and other plants also contain fiber, all right? Your body doesn't digest and absorb fiber like other carbs. So therefore, what you're looking for in a vegetable is the digestible or net carb count. And what that means is total carbs minus fiber. The term net carbs simply refers to carbs that are actually absorbed into the body. So there are a lot of vegetables that contain very few net carbs, but consuming 1 serving per day of something starchy, like potatoes, like yams, like beets, that's going to put you through the roof for your daily carb limits. What you want to do is you want to have low carb veggies. For example, cauliflower. And you can do 15 different things with cauliflower. You can make it into rice. You can make it into mashed potatoes. Now, let me tell you something. Nobody in my house is on keto. No one. However, I promise you, I do not sit here every evening making 2 and 3 and 4 different meals for everyone. So I make everyone cauliflower mashed potatoes and everyone loves it. So I did this at Thanksgiving and I didn't even tell them, because when you make keto substitutions, really what you're always endeavoring to do, you're not trying to make, keto mashed potatoes. You're just trying to make mashed potatoes. And if you're sneaky like me and you don't even tell people, they're going to eat it and they're going to think it's wonderful. Keto mashed potatoes are cheesier than your traditional mashed potatoes. They probably also will contain more butter because fat is your friend when you're on the keto eating plan. So, other vegetables that you want to keep in mind when it comes to keto: zucchini. When it comes to keto, zucchini. You can also do 15 different things with zucchini. Like you can make zoodles out of zucchini. That can be the base for virtually any pasta dish. Spaghetti squash is a very natural substitute for spaghetti. It looks and acts like spaghetti. Spaghetti squash is the most wonderful thing. What else do you want to keep in mind when you're talking about your keto eating plan? So asparagus, avocado, broccoli, cabbage, these are all going to be your friends on your keto eating plan. Cucumber, green beans, eggplant, kale, lettuce, olives, peppers, bell peppers, spinach especially. Spinach is practically my best friend. Number one, very low carb. Number two, very high in fiber. So I load up on a lot of spinach. Zucchini I already talked about. So what else are you going to eat on your keto eating plan? Cheese, hundreds of types of cheeses, okay? And cheese is another thing. You can do so many things with cheese because it's nutritious, it's versatile. And what we're talking about when it comes to keto cheeses: blue cheese, brie, cheddar cheese, Colby Jack, cottage cheese. Cottage cheese also very high in protein. Cream cheese. I cook with a lot of cream cheese, and you'll see in the recipes that I have in this group, a lot of recipes do call for cream cheese, goat cheese, mascarpone cheese, and there's a wonderful dessert that I'm going to share with you one day that uses mascarpone cheese. Who even thought you could use cheese for dessert? But yeah, you absolutely can. Mozzarella, you'll see a lot of that in the recipes here. Pepper jack cheese, provolone, Romano, string cheese, Swiss cheese. You'll see cheese all over in the recipes that I give you here in this group. What else are you going to eat on keto? Avocados. Avocados are very healthy. And what you want to do is you want to think about half of a medium avocado contains about 9 grams of carbs. It also contains fiber. So this is what I'm talking about. These things are your friends. Now, let me explain this to you. Let's say we take half of a medium avocado, 9 grams of carbs. 7 of those carbs are fiber. So we're going to take the 9, we're going to subtract the 7, and guess what? An avocado is only 2 grams net of carbs. This is exactly what we want. Plus, avocados are so high in vitamins and minerals, potassium. This is an important mineral that basically nobody gets enough of, and higher potassium in your bloodstream, in your system, can make the transition onto a keto eating plan that much easier. What else are you going to be eating on keto? Meat and poultry. So these are your staples when it comes to your keto eating plan. But that doesn't just mean, bring on all the steaks, bring on all the bacon. Sure, those things are definitely in the plan. One thing that you want to be mindful of, though, is that you cannot load up on protein. Remember the Atkins diet from the 80s, thereabouts, where I think it was Suzanne Summers from Three's Company, right? Was just pushing this, and a lot of people as well, not just her. But she would talk about the big steaks and the butter and the bacon and all of that. Well, science has evolved since then. It was a long time ago. And people still do Atkins, most definitely. But I don't want you to think that keto is, the 2021 version of Atkins. That's not the case. So keto is a high-fat, low-carb, moderate protein diet. Moderate protein diet is what's critically important here. Those are the words that we want to pay attention to. Your protein has to be moderate. It cannot be through the roof, because when you have too much protein, you will gain weight, you will not lose weight. An easy way to think about this is, we're all aware of, muscle men, big men in the gym, weightlifters, all of that. What do they bulk up on? Protein powder and actual protein, because they want to gain that weight. We don't want to do that when we're on the keto eating plan. So we have to keep the protein nice and moderate. But meat and poultry. So what does this mean? Beef, chicken, turkey, pork. You need to be eating this every single day. Meat and protein, meat and poultry is what I meant to say, don't have carbs, very rich in high quality protein. And that's exactly what we want. Okay, eggs. Eggs you can do 150 different things with. So I just shared a recipe today of my breakfast. It's egg whites, it is sauteed spinach, it is a kimchi pancake. Now, the other day I shared another breakfast, and this one happened to be scrambled eggs. So it wasn't just egg whites, it was regular eggs. I had bacon and I had a cabbage hash brown. So the reason that I shared both of those in the last several days is because I really want to impress upon you that keto is not something where you need to be changing your whole life. You need to be changing your whole diet. We want to start with what we already know. You obviously, if you eat eggs, I've eaten them before now. Same thing with meat. We're starting with the beef, the chicken, the pork. These are things that you're already familiar with. Keto requires being mindful of what you're eating, being mindful of the portions, and being mindful of the combinations, but it's not like your grocery list is going to be filled with 100 things that you never heard of before. So eggs, obviously, pretty easy. So most of the nutrients are found in the yolk. Most of the protein is found in the yolk. What else do you want to factor into your keto diet? Coconut oil. So fat is your friend on keto, and you need to get used to this because, we've been raised to believe that eating fat makes you fat. However, on keto, what we want to do is condition our body to burn fat as fuel. So coconut oil, MCT oil, other oils that are liquid at room temperature, olive oil, for example. Butter is excellent as well, but we're talking mainly about things that are oils that pour when they are room temperature. Another thing that we want to be mindful of when it comes, let me just say a little bit more about olive oil. Olive oil is really, really heart healthy, okay? So it gives us antioxidants, and these are compounds that will further protect our heart health. Okay, what else do we want to keep in mind? Nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds, high fat, healthy, low carb. Now, find some that you like, and you have a lot of choices. So I'm talking almonds, Brazil nuts, cashews, macadamia, pistachios, pecans, walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds, both of which you can put into a beautiful overnight oatmeal, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds. So, I am one who experiences not a slump so much, but I just get cravings late in the afternoon. And some of it's definitely mental. It's just me thinking about dinner. And I have to manage that because I need to be more conscious and kind of decide, am I actually hungry or am I just having thoughts? There is a big difference, right? But when I'm actually hungry, the best thing to do, reach for some nuts. So there are so many that you can choose from. Find some that you like. And I find that to be helpful for me around the 4 or 5 o'clock, time of day. Fruit. So you may read online, you can't have fruit on keto. Okay, well, you can have fruit on keto. What you want to do, though, is you just need to be very mindful of the fruit that you're eating. So you're not going to be eating a lot of citrus fruit. You're not going to be eating a lot of fruit that has something very watery, okay? It's not watermelon, it's not pineapple, but here's what you can eat on keto. Blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. You will see these all over this group in the recipes that I share with you. So I have triple triangle crepes that have blueberries and strawberries. I have light as a feather lemony muffins. And I believe they have blueberries with those as well. There are, oh, you can always top your overnight oats with berries. You can put berries on so many things. I'm running out of ideas at this particular moment. Last thing I want to talk about is butter and cream. So I mentioned butter a minute ago. Butter is a good fat to include on a keto diet, and it only includes like very trace amount of carbs, but you want that fat. The other place where you're going to get fat is from heavy cream. When you see a recipe that calls for heavy cream, use it. Do not use milk. Do not use low-fat milk. Do not use fat-free milk. You're not trying to be fat-free. You're trying to get as much fat as humanly possible. So Bulletproof Coffee and Bulletproof Tea both use butter and heavy cream. Why? Because it's that fat that fills you up. Particularly in the morning, you can have Bulletproof Coffee for breakfast and it will hold you all the way through lunch, probably into the early afternoon. So I also want to get to the foods that you're going to avoid. Some of them are actually healthy, which is why I wanted to bring them to your attention. Others, not terribly healthy, but I'm also going to tell you what you need to include instead. One thing that you want to avoid right off the bat, croutons. So you probably eat a good amount of salads on keto. I certainly do when it comes to lunchtime. A salad is so easy. You have your leafy green base. You can do spinach. You can do spring mix, which I really like. And then put the different things that you're going to put on there. But one thing that you may be used to that you're going to have to get unused to are the croutons. So you don't have that crunch from croutons. However, what you do have is the crunch from hemp hearts. So hemp hearts are more nutrient dense than croutons, which is exactly what you want. And you can have more hemp hearts than croutons and get fewer carbs. The other thing that's awesome about hemp hearts is that they give you unsaturated fat, and unsaturated fat is what you want to help you meet your fat macros for the day. Okay, another thing that you don't want to eat so much of on keto, peas. Okay, peas are starchy. We don't want the starchy vegetables. But what you want to substitute is broccoli. Broccoli is something that I just talked about in one of the top 10 foods to eat. Broccoli has 2.9 grams of net carbs per cup. Zucchini, which I also mentioned, 2.6 grams. Raw spinach has 0.4 grams of net carbs per cup. So on keto, we're looking for ways to cut carbs, and it's important to also use those carbs to eat high fiber foods. This will help you with your stomach. This will help you with elimination. These are the things that we want to make sure our system is producing regularly. We have good gut health. We are eliminating regularly. So you want those vegetables that are low carb, high fiber. Let's talk about snacks. Snack pack, like a pack of pretzels. Even if it says it's a 100-calorie snack pack, we don't want those. What I want you to eat instead, sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds are salty, so they're going to satisfy that savory craving that you're looking for. And they're also, obviously, pretty healthy. Now, the thing with sunflower seeds and the thing with snacks in general, people are used to eating what's in front of them, right? So put sunflower seeds in front of you. Put pumpkin seeds in front of you. Make those nuts just as easy to reach for as, say, the potato chips. Another thing that we want to cut back on keto are bananas. So bananas have more than 20 grams of net carbs. That's going to blow you out for the entire day. Switch out some of those other fruits that I talked about. The strawberries, the blackberries, the blueberries, the raspberries. So what else do we want to... Oh, let me get back to the butter for a second. Because when I say butter, that is exactly what I mean. I don't mean margarine. I don't mean any kind of butter substitute. You don't want margarine. What you want is, instead of that, you want olive oil. If you want to go for extra virgin, that's even better. Olive oil is going to be great. Now, let's say that you want to have a drink or two. Now, every Friday, I have a happy hour and I share some alcohol recipe with you. So go back and look at those recipes so you can find out what they all are, because I promise you they are fun. One of the things that I really used to love, pina colada. Oh my goodness. And this restaurant doesn't exist anymore, but there used to be a restaurant chain where I live, and they would serve pina coladas and the base of it was ice cream. So can you imagine? It's pina colada flavor, ice cream base, and alcohol. Oh my God. But anyway, I would suck those down, every chance that I got when I went to that restaurant. Here's what you want to do instead. When you are following a keto eating plan, go for a vodka soda instead. Okay. So I'm not a beer drinker, but if you are, you may want to back up from the really heavy beers. A heavy beer like a Guinness or something, you can't even see through it in the glass. It's not going to be your friend. You really need to moderate the beer. So I don't necessarily have, a ton that I recommend. I really recommend that you avoid the beer altogether. But if for your happy hour, you would enjoy a beer, if you must, Michelob Ultra comes in minis. It's an 8-ounce can. It has less than 2 grams of carbs. Another thing that you want to avoid is sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are not going to be your friend. Let me tell you something that is better. It's going to be cauliflower. You can make mashed potatoes, you can make French fries, you can do so many things with cauliflower. It is super versatile. That's what I want you to keep in mind. And then the last thing that I'm going to talk about is milk. I am a huge milk drinker. I love it. My relatives would laugh at me because I'm an adult, and before I drink alcohol, I would reach for a glass of milk. The problem is cow's milk gives a lot of carbs. What you want to do, have some almond milk instead. So, start with the unsweetened non-flavors. If you're just looking for something that you can get used to, they do have vanilla, they do have sweetened, but I kind of like to start at the least amount of calories possible. And so almond milk is so versatile. It is perfectly delicious, and almond milk has 1 gram of net carbs per cup. So this is a wonderful non-dairy alternative for you. So I want you to go back through this video and identify what you're going to fold into your keto diet and what you're going to avoid, but also how you're going to substitute. If you have questions, you can go ahead and drop them in the comments. If you have any other challenge getting started on keto, in the comments, let me know what the issue is. I'll go ahead and respond to you. Even though the live is going to be over soon, I'll still be notified. I'll come back and I'll answer your questions. Also, if you know someone who needs to know how to start keto, what to eat and what to avoid, if you know someone who needs the recipes I'm sharing and learn exactly what you're learning, invite them into our group. We'd love to have them. I'll see you in the group.